Yo everyone, today's podcast is with the brother Darrellman, or Imran ibn Mansour, depending on how you know him. He's come on as a guest and the topic is Muslim celebrities and social media figureheads, influencers, and their lack of Islam or their loss of Islam as time has gone on, and maybe some of the lessons that we can take from it. This was meant to be episode 3, but we're just putting it ahead as episode 2, maybe because of time relevance, but also because I haven't actually got around to sorting out episode 2 yet. It's just the files are just stuck, so hope you guys enjoy, and we'll get straight into it. Started, yeah?
Yeah.
Bismillah. Without further ado, introducing you to brother Imran ibn Mansour.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. So yeah, man, I'm truly honoured to be on a podcast. It means I must have some principles if I've been given a privilege.
Staying quite principled, yeah. You must.
Alhamdulillah.
Right, so today's topic is so we were just thinking about some of the things which have been happening recently, some of the stuff we've seen online and in the media and stuff. The topic is about some of these Muslim icons, if that's the word we want to use, Muslim icons or celebrities and public figures, and their, let's call it, lack of Islam or loss of Islam rather. How they've gone from being practicing Muslims or Muslims to not being practicing Muslims or having less Islam than they had previously. The reasons behind it and how maybe what we should take from that. Do you want to continue from there?
Yeah, so I think the point here is that, obviously it's interesting because you say that the topic here today is about the lack of Islam of the Muslim celebrities. So then if a person, like, obviously, you get different type of celebrities. You've got actors, that's one kind of genre, demographic of celebrities. You've got musicians, within the musicians, you've got different types. You've got rappers, you've got R&B artists, reggae artists, you have sports personalities. Within them, you have the different demographics. So, like, each, like, it doesn't make sense for you to be, for there to be, like, a podcast or a discussion around, like, the lack of, skill amongst, like, football players. Do you get me? Because the reason why you're a football player is because you have that certain skill, right? But what we find is that amongst the Muslim demographic, the Muslim celebrity demographic, it's like you have Muslim celebrities
who are apparently Islamic, but there's not much Islam there.
There's not much Islam there, and that's the oxymoron, that's the juxtaposition that we're in. So this is a very devilish technique and tactic. Do you get me? In a sense, where shaitan. I mean, look, you got two categories of people that I think that fall into this issue. One category of people is that people who they used to be practicing and they had goodwill and intention, but like the fame, it ate away at them, and eventually they kind of withered off and they fell off deen, right? They were tested with fame. As Imam Ahmad rahimahullah ta'ala said, fame is a test. It's a fitna. When he was, he used to say, I wish I was a person just lost walking through the valleys of Mecca, like I've been tested with fame. So he saw it as a test, as a trial, a tribulation. People don't see it as a test, trial and tribulation because it takes a person's iman away, and I think we could discuss more about exactly how it does that. The other group is a group of people who, they never really had any religious inclination or they happen to just be Muslim by name, but it weren't like they were good at Islam, if that's even the right way of saying it. Like the same way a football player would be good at football, right? It's not like they were good or on their deen, but they were very smart and manipulative about how they got fame. Like, for example, I came from the music industry in Jahiliyyah, and one of the things that I know about people firsthand, people who couldn't bust it in the music industry, they tried to break it as nasheed artists because the competition was less. And I actually have a very good friend of mine whose name I won't mention on mic because he probably wouldn't like me to mention it without his permission or whatnot and so on and so forth, but he also was a rapper. Alhamdulillah, Allah guided him. He used to perform in like clubs and bars and whatnot, right? So one time he was performing at one event where they invited him to perform at one Muslim event, right? So he came and he rapped and he done his thing, and there was a very famous nasheed artist that was present at that event. And that nasheed artist must have said to him at the end, he said, look, you got lots of talent, bro, but he said, you need to change your style, you need to appeal to the Muslims a bit more. And he was like, listen, with all due respect, bro, why am I going to appeal to the Muslims? He was one of those guys who he'll rap and then he'll tell you, don't listen to me because it's haram. Like he was principled.
He knew.
He knew. But then look what the guy said to him. The guy said to him, no, you're not hearing me, bro. He said, look, in this game, in the Muslim industry, there's no competition. there's no competition. So tailor your message and stuff towards that.
And the reason for that, maybe one of the reasons for that, is because our Muslim audience or our Muslim community is a bit silly, and we really want approval from others and from the kuffar and from different groups. So we almost get excited as soon as another person is famous and they're Muslim, and by any means we can kind of latch onto them and say, hey, look, that's one of our guys.
Yeah, it's because
that we give them that platform, basically, because we give them too much respect. So that people, when they're in that situation where they're thinking, okay, if I'm not doing too well in my in the non-Muslim crowd as a rapper or whatever, I can go into the Muslim crowd, because that Muslim crowd is always going to be available, because that's how we are as a community. We tend to be open, and we'll take anyone on, basically.
Yes, it's because the young Muslim brothers and sisters are suffering from an identity crisis.
Yeah.
I mean, for them, it's like, look here, like we have other things to be proud of, and other things that I mean, look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam defined something for you as a community to glorify, for something you as a community to be proud of, for something you as a community to look at. It's actually amazing that we have this in our community, right? And the kuffar have their own definition, their own standard, but their standard is not upon guidance and revelation. Ours is. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, for example, we're told a person who has knowledge and righteousness is a person who should push forward, as this is one of ours, right? The kuffar are told, a person,
money, fame, women, those are the things that
exactly, a person who's a comedian who can make people laugh and these kind of things. That's the kind of person who should push forward, right? Sometimes people get famous amongst the kuffar for very crazy things, right? Like, for example, if you look at it, I remember Ustad Abdurrahman was saying that look at the day and age that we live in. Like, people who are famous now are from the lowest of people. Like, for example, at least back in the days, the kuffar, they would have people like Sir Francis Bacon, Albert Einstein, Nicholas Copernicus, like thinkers, academics, intellectual people that they looked at as celebrities. But now you got people like this guy called Designer. Literally, like, I remember I saw some of his interviews because I was so amazed at how the kids were going crazy over this guy. This guy is a retard. He's got videos of him vomiting on stage and people love it. Like, now you got a guy with rainbow hair.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, this dumb guy. I come across it, I'm thinking, really, like, back, even if you were to listen to music, why would you listen to this kind of music?
And the guy,
like, you're getting sin and you're not, like, there's nothing there for you. There's nothing there.
And the guy on interviews is telling you, I know I look stupid, and you love him and you want to be like him. So the point I'm making here is that, if you take the kuffar standard in terms of what's fame and what we should put forward and what we should be proud of, right, in terms of popularity, and their standard's very low. I mean, there's this woman, I don't want to mention her name, she's a rapper. All the girls and boys who I know who listen, who know about her, probably know about her, and she used to be a stripper. She became famous as a stripper, right? Like, you got other women who became, and then went off to marry rappers and became famous. Why? Just because of naked pictures. I'm saying these are the most filthiest and lowest of people that you can find in society and in our communities, right? So I'm saying their standard for fame is what? Their standard for fame is shamelessness. Shamelessness. There's no shame. They'll do whatever it is we want. So the thing is, the brothers and sisters, they have an identity crisis. That, look, we want to be famous, we want to have something that we could be proud of. But because they live in the West and they live in a Kafir country, and even some of them who live back home but are just constantly indoctrinated by what they see online from social media from the West, they have lost focus of what the goalposts are. As in, where it was righteousness, knowledge, manners, this, that and the other, wisdom. These are things that we should be proud of, we should put forward as in the community. For them, it's like, right, look, it's about, fashion, models, music, this, that and the other, jokers, pranksters.
They basically use the same criteria which the kuffar use, but they'll just find a person who's Muslim or an identity of a Muslim with that same stuff of shamelessness and rapping and comedy and all these kind of things, whatever the kuffar are famous for, money, women, all these kind of things, and they'll just find someone who's Muslim doing the same stuff, and now they're happy, now they're like, okay, it's one of our guys. But really, he's not one of your guys. He's one of their guys, and he's just taken you as a crowd so he can build himself upon you.
And he do that intentionally. Yeah. Like, for example,
how many times have we seen this? Yeah,
I mean, look, this Adam Saleh guy. Like, he used to come and do these Muslim experiments, Muslim this, Muslim that. Got stopped by police because I'm dressing like a Muslim in the streets, praying in the streets, and then eventually he came up with a very filthy, like, sexually kind of, provocative music video, which I was actually quite happy to see that a lot of the youngers were actually appalled at what he put out. But then he came out on an interview on BBC Radio or Asian Radio or something like that, and people were asking, like, look, you came out as a person who was kind of representing the Muslim community, like, what happened? Like, isn't it kind of a bit mad that you're kind of doing stuff that's anti-Islamic? And he was like, no, like, basically let them man do whatever they want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't really care. Do you know what I'm saying? And then we have issues like this where, like, how many people, I remember people used to say, I'm so happy that One Direction has a Muslim member in there, Zayn Malik. But then is Zayn Malik even Muslim? Like, the guy himself is telling you, I don't consider myself to be a Muslim anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So Islam was never a part of their life, and they and what they were doing was un-Islamic from the beginning. It was never an Islamic thing. Do you see where I'm coming from?
And now you only realise when the person has come out and done something which is so extreme and so clearly against the religion, whether that's what this explicit sexual music video he did, or coming out and saying you're not Muslim, or taking a hijab off, whatever this thing is, and where everyone knows now it's so bad, that's when you have, oh my God, now you have a problem with it. But why didn't you have a problem when those people were taking that path beforehand, misleading you the whole time, and you were getting further away from your religion as they were getting further away from their religion? You could see it happening, and only when it comes right to the end you realise, oh, they're doing something wrong.
So, you know, sorry, you know what's dangerous about that is that, you know, it gets to a point, it gets to a point where, you know what, yeah, sometimes they're so deeply in love with the person that it's too late, because you know, when they do go down a certain path, whether the path be sin or bid'ah or kufr, they're so in love with them that they're blinded by the love of the person that actually they follow them down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Where, as in, they don't, for example, they'll look at you and they tell you, why are you still talking bad about the person? Why are you backbiting? Make an excuse for him, and then they'll just carry on doing what he does. Like, for example, Dina Tokyo, right? Like, our sister she started off, may Allah forgive her, you know, doing certain things. There was music, at least she was wearing hijab, maybe abaya kind of disappeared, this happened, that happened, makeup came out, became a turban, till now she said, I don't wear a hijab anymore. And how many girls
And they didn't have
followed her.
Yeah, they didn't have a problem with it when they could see that it wasn't hijab a long time ago. And she said it herself when she's explaining. She said that I didn't consider myself hijabi for 3 years or something. So she wasn't in that position for 3 years, but for the last 3 years, you had no problem with her until just now when she said, I've actually taken that cloth off my head. But it was so long ago where that already happened, and you only have a problem now. You should have seen that deterioration a long time ago, and rather than following them down that rabbit hole, you should have done something about it and be like, look, I'm not following these people, I'm not going to follow behind them the whole time, I'm going to take the right path. I know what the right path is. Let's be real, we all know what the right path is. In reality, we all know what the right path is. It's just about whether or not we're actually bothered, we care enough to take it. Because, like, if you knew you were going to die tomorrow, you would be on the right path. But we just don't care enough. That's the reality.
Yeah, we're sleeping at. But you see, that's the sad thing, is that, you know, you're saying that some people, they realise now. I'm saying majority of people don't even realise. I'm saying these hijab YouTubers have single-handedly destroyed a generation of Muslim girls, okay? Where the majority of people who watch them are girls that are like under 18, 14, 13, 12, 16-year-old girls. So now they're growing up in a world where their role model, their Islamic icon or celebrity role model, person they look up to, Dina Tokyo, she's basically saying it's okay to not wear the hijab so you can blend in with the kuffar, right? So I'm saying they're not gonna, like, the older girls who've got some deen are looking at that kind of like, raw, Dina's gone a bit too far, Zayn Malik's gone too far, Adam Salih's gone too far. But majority of the young girls who follow them, they're not thinking like that. They're just thinking this is the natural progression, this is the natural way to be, this is the natural course there should be. And for them, they're going down a bad way. So I mean, my advice would just be, you know, don't follow, as Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, that's why we should always stick to the path of the Salaf. The Salaf gave the best view. Do you know what I'm saying? The best advice. He said, if you're going to follow anyone, he said, follow those who are dead. Because the ones who are alive are not saved from fitna, tribulation. Meaning, the ones who are alive, you think that they're good today, right? But they could fall off tomorrow. If you're following them, you'll fall off with them. It's best what you do is you stick to those who are already dead, because we know that they died upon guidance. That's why we say stick to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, stick to the Sahaba, stick to the Salaf, stick to the scholars who are dead. We know what they died. Even today, Ustad Abdul Rahman will not mention scholars who are alive. He says, why? They're not safe from fitna. He'll say, we only mention the scholars who are dead. If you're going to hold on to him, we'll hold on to the role models and the people who are dead. Because the ones alive, I mean, let's just say the ones who are good, it's not guaranteed they're going to be good tomorrow. And to be honest, a lot of them have confused you. You think they're good, they might not even be good, man. But subhanAllah,
and even
do you want to round it up, because I'm having to round it up.
I just want to you summarised what we were trying to say at the end of the day. Even us right now, we're giving this maybe advice or putting our views down on this, but reality is we can't guarantee guidance for ourselves as well. So you don't follow us. That's why we're not here for. No one's here for views and fame, whatever. No one cares. You follow the right people. You know who they are. We know who they are. We're just telling you, follow the knowledge is there. The sources are there, right? So just follow that instead and stop taking these people as your role models, because they're not going to be on the day of judgment. They're going to dismiss themselves. They're going to basically say, look, I had nothing to do with these people.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do then? You can't say, this person misguided me. This is all down to yourself at the end of the day.
Allah said, وَتَقَطَّعَتْ بِهِمُ الْأَسْبَابِ. They will cut off ties from you. سَيَكْفِرُونَ بِعِبَادَتِهِمْ. They will disbelieve in your worship of them. Because some people, it takes it to a level of worship. So they will deny you on the day of judgment. In fact, you will say, as Allah says in Surah Al-Ahzab, we follow them. We follow them. They misled us down a certain path. Allah gives them double the punishment. Today you're defending them, liking their posts, whatnot. On the day of judgment, you're going to say, Allah give them double the punishment because they led you down a path.
And you think about it. Do you approve of them? If you approve of them, you're going to be the one who's following them, liking their posts and all these things. You go through your own following list and see what you are interested in. And you can ask yourself the question of, what do you support in reality and what do you not support? And what are you being misguided by? And don't tell me that, social media is not that deep. Half the people have been misguided from social media alone.
100%.
So it is what it is. Anyways, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. I think it's been a bit quick because we're a bit short in time. But I hope you lot enjoyed and benefited, inshallah. See you in the next one.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. And stay principled.